Mr. Mitchell is the Senior Training and Education Coordinator for the Human Subjects Protections Office at Brooke Army Medical Center, where he provides training to research personnel, assesses research studies and reviews new expedited and exempt studies. He has over 14 years' experience in research consisting of several diverse positions such as Research Coordinator, Compliance Coordinator, and Data Oncology Manager.
Good afternoon, this is Dennis Mitchell from the eIRB office, Harpo office. Today I'm going to talk about a brief overview of eIRB submissions and an overview of eIRB. Here's my disclaimer. So kind of an outline of what we're going to talk about, how to find templates, submissions of current protocols, determining what you might need for new submissions, and contact information for our staff. All instructions, supplemental forms, Harpo forms, and SOPs can be currently found on SharePoint. I've listed a link below. Please read through the Researcher's Guide to Navigating the Approval Process. This is going to be the most important form that we have out there if you're going to start with a new submission. It's going to go over different determinations, the supplemental forms you may need. It's a very important form. We can find it on SharePoint. You can also find relevant policies, and if you need to have a CAT card or be located at BAMSI to access this site. If you're at WASC, you might not be able to access it, but not a problem. You can always email our office, and we can get you whatever information that you might need. This is what SharePoint looks like when you log in. The two main folders that you're going to use are down at the bottom: BAMSI Research Information and BAMSI Research Forms. The Research Information tab has all of the eIRB guides to help you navigate through that system. It can be complicated at times, but we have plenty of guides in there with screenshots to help you process through that. The Research Forms is going to be all your supplemental forms that you're going to need to submit with any new submission in eIRB. What I suggest is to go and look through these folders, and you'll be able to find all the different forms and information that you need to help you submit new studies, submit continuing reviews, submit amendments, especially the eIRB guides. They're really helpful. They'll help you walk through the system. Now, if you already have a study that's approved outside of the system and it was never put in eIRB, we have some studies that were approved years ago, so that they're going to still be submitted outside of eIRB. So if you have a currently approved protocol outside of eIRB, you're going to submit all your submissions to the email link that I have listed there in green. Try to get all the submissions in one email if possible. However, I know that some of these studies have a lot of documents, so it might take a couple emails. But in the subject line, if you could put the last name and then like the submission type, is it a CR, an amendment? And then once you've submitted it, once we receive it, we'll send you an acknowledgement saying we've got it. And please don't submit these directly to a coordinator if you know them. Please submit them to the mailbox. It just makes it easier. And we try to get these done as fast as possible. It just depends on what type of shape it's in, if we have to go back and forth. So we try to get things. Okay, so for new study submissions, we're going to kind of go over basic requirements, the different review processes, of course eIRB, and again I'll give you some contact information. So what would you need to submit a new study? So of course you're going to need the eIRB application. It's kind of a wizardized template, and you'll walk you through all the different sections depending on what type of study it is. You're going to need city training. Those are good for 3 years. I want to go over this a little bit more since we are switching over to the PNR and no longer using BAMSI as a site within a city. So come 30 June of this year, we're no longer going to accept the BAMSI certificates. So make sure you go into SharePoint, and there is instructions in there to show you how to transfer your BAMSI or your city training. A CV, just make sure you have your current affiliation and position at BAMSI. A COI form, which can be found on SharePoint, along with all of the other supplemental documents, consent forms, HIPAA forms, the R20 scientific review for all expedited and full board studies. This is a required document, and if it's not submitted originally, we'll have to send the study back to you. So this is a very important document. Make sure it's completed and signed. There's instructions in SharePoint on how to complete that document. Any case report forms, surveys, flyers, things like that would need to be submitted in the submission. So the different types of review processes. If your study is minimal risk or greater than minimal risk, we have expedited review process or full board. If it's greater than minimal risk, it'll have to go to the full convened board. For expedited studies, we'll give that to 1 or 2 reviewers. I want to say that just because it's expedited doesn't mean that it'll be quicker. It just depends on, it just means it doesn't have to go to a full board. For the full board studies, we'll do our best to put it on the next available agenda. It just depends on how many corrections there may need or how much back and forth we have to go back to get it ready for the board to review. We're going to give you feedback once you submit it. We'll do an initial review and try to get all of the kind of the admin things taken care of, make sure you have all the right forms and things like that. But we'll communicate with you. The reviewers will communicate with you just to make sure we get this ready for approval. CRs are required for all the full board studies. Expedited studies, with the new common rule coming into effect, those most will not have a CR. However, we will do an annual review, which is essentially just a 1-page document that we ask for. Things is how many subjects we've enrolled, kind of an update on the study. It's 1 page, doesn't take too long, and we'll send that through Outlook to the study team. Okay, so let's talk about eIRB, everybody's favorite. So we are using that for all new submissions. So I've given you the link right here to access the system. You must have a CAT card to get into the system. Now, there are other options to that. However, please contact our office if you have any issues. But a majority, you have to have a CAT card to access the system. And your email address is very important. So we have to make sure that's correct. I'm going to show you how to update that down the line in the slides. We do all our communication through eIRB. So, if your email is not correct, you're not going to get it. All stipulations sent back or sent through that email in there. So how do you get a new account? The easiest way to do it is to put a help desk ticket in, and that's on SharePoint as well. But if you send us an email, we can send you the form to fill out. You'll send that along with your current cyber awareness training to the email on the ticket. You can also call. However, they're going to eventually want your cyber awareness training, so that I have found takes a little bit longer. Okay, so let's talk about how to update your email address. Over to the left, you'll see I have highlighted. So when you first open up the system, this is the screen you're going to see. And then over to the left, it says update your enterprise profile. So you would just click on that, put your correct email address in there, and hit save. And it'll update your email in the entire system. Once you're logged in, this is what your home screen is it's going to basically look like this. On the right hand side, you're going to see the help tab, and that's going to, click on that. It's going to show you tutorials, and there's going to be the help desk tickets in there, and there's some other good information in there to help you out as you go along. And then over to the left, you'll see it says My Assistant. You can upload your CV in there. That's what we do, all the city that's added. And there's some other good information in there. Just click on there and look around. All right, so if you're going to add a new protocol, you can see the arrow there. It just says hit Add a New Protocol. Also, anytime you add a new protocol in the system, if you click on My Protocols, that's going to open up and list all the studies that you currently have pending or open, or any study that you've submitted or are working on. Okay, you're gonna select eIRB protocol template. Make sure you don't select IACUC. That's an animal protocol, and our office does not deal with the animal side. So section 1, the biggest thing here is multi-site. It's going to ask you, is this a multi-site study? Now, the only time you're going to answer yes is if you have multiple DOD sites. So if it's BAMSI and William Beaumont, you would say yes. If you have one DOD site and another site is like University of Texas or UTUSCAR, that's not considered multi-site in the system. Only more than one DOD site you would select yes. For section 2, you would just add one site, and so it depends on where you want to submit this study to. So if you were going to submit it to WASC, you would put 59th Medical Wing. If you're going to submit it to Brooke Army Medical Center, then you put BAMSI. But just remember, you only put one site in this section. Now, section 4 is the most important. This is going to dictate what type of template you're going to need to complete for your study. It can range from 20 sections to 12 or 9 sections. You can see on the left hand side there. So 4.1 has another eIRB reviewed this. Now, it would only be checked yes if we are going to defer to an outside institution. So say BAMSI is going to defer the eIRB review to UTUSCA or University of Texas or something like that. Then it would be yes. Most of the times this section is going to be no, as long as we're not deferring out. And please, if you have questions about that, please contact our office, because this will manipulate and change the template of your protocol. 4.2, is this a research study? A lot of times people miss that and kind of go over to, is this compassionate use? And they'll put no. Please, this is going to most likely be yes, right? If it's going to be a research study, then click yes. Now we'll go down to 4.6. Is this human subjects research? So if you're going to deal with subjects themselves or their identifiable data, this is going to be yes. If you're just going to do a research not involving human subject study, essentially if you're just dealing with de-identified data, then you can select no. 4.7. Do you believe this human subject research is exempt from eIRB review? So if you're going to do like a chart review or a survey study, then you can click yes. If not, then select no. If it is exempt, then you would select Revised Common Rule, and then you can select the category that you think best fits. Now, don't worry about the category. We can update that as needed. We'll review it and just confirm or update that section. For eIRB, there's a lot more we can discuss. However, it could take an hour or so just to go through all the different sections, but I just wanted to go over the basic sections that people check wrong and that are very important to the protocol template. And so if you have questions before you submit it, please contact our office and we can walk you through it. Or again, use the guides that we have on SharePoint. They're very informative. They have screenshots. They'll show you exactly what to put in those sections. Here, I just wanted to give you some contact information for our office. You can see what they work on. Miss Dalton works on new studies, and Miss Nina, she'll do all new expedited studies, and so on and so on. So if you have a question about whatever submission you're having, you can contact those people directly. And if anything, if a general comment kind of doesn't fit in there, Miss Brenda Torres can help with any question. This is my contact information. Miss Angela Labatt's contact information. We do all the training, publications, assessments, initial consultations, city. So if you have questions, any questions about any of those, if you want to have a one-on-one training, or if you want to do group training, you can just let me know, especially for eIRB, and we'll come to your department or your clinic and work with you on doing that. So we have Ms. Tamara Britt, who is a subjects protection specialist, and then we have the two co-chairs for the eIRB, Lieutenant Colonel Kovar and Major Welsh. I can't really take any questions, but you have our email contact information. Please don't hesitate to give us a call. If any questions that you have, please don't hesitate. Thank you all very much. Thank you all very much.